Welcome to the Broken English channel. Today, we're going to review an old French film titled Bilitis, released in 1977. Many of you probably haven't heard of or seen this movie. It's an interesting film from a controversial standpoint because of its lesbian theme. Of course, back then, people weren't as accustomed to LGBTQ themes as they are today. Another controversial aspect of this film revolves around the age of the female cast, both the main actress and the extras. The film tells the story of Bilitis, a teenage girl still in school. The name, Bilitis, is taken from an ancient erotic poem by Pierre-Louis titled, The Songs of Bilitis. In literature, Bilitis is a female character who embarks on erotic adventures. Including with other women, in the film, Bilitis' adventures involve her being attracted to men much older than her, but she's also interested in exploring another side of herself by engaging in intimate relationships with women, both her age and older. The film opens with Bilitis living her cloistered life within the walls of a girls' boarding school, a setting both innocent and stifling, where the transition from childhood to adolescence unfolds in quiet secrecy. Amid the rigid rules and watchful eyes of the institution, Bilitis is awakening to new feelings and desires. Surrounded daily by other young women, she finds herself questioning the contours of her own identity, especially in matters of attraction and sexuality. She is caught between the burgeoning allure of manhood and the softer, intimate pull she feels toward women. On one hand, she longs for the idea of a man, a distant figure who might represent security, romance, and adulthood. Yet, on the other hand, she discovers an unexpected comfort and a thrill in the presence of her female friends, their nearness stirring sensations she does not yet fully comprehend. And then comes the summer, a season heavy with promise and ripe with possibility. For Bilitis, this is the first taste of freedom after years under the disciplined regimen of boarding school. She steps into the sun-drenched world beyond the gates, her senses raw and newly attuned to beauty, desire, and the mysteries of adulthood. As the summer holiday begins, Bilitis is invited by a sophisticated married couple to stay in their elegant villa. The film offers no details of Bilitis' family background or origins, leaving her almost like a blank slate upon which her experiences will be written. The couple, Melissa and her husband, take Bilitis under their wing as though she were their own child. In many ways, they function as surrogate aunt and uncle, forming a kind of makeshift family. They share warm conversations and intimate dinners, creating a domestic tableau that feels both safe and charged with undercurrents Bilitis does not yet fully recognize. At first, Bilitis' curiosity is drawn to the romantic interplay between Melissa and her husband. She observes them closely, searching for clues about love, passion, and intimacy. But it is not Melissa's handsome husband who commands Bilitis' secret attention. Instead, it is Melissa herself who becomes the object of Bilitis' fascination. Melissa is a vision of refined beauty, elegant, sensual, and mature. There is a languid grace to her movements. An effortless allure that seems both accessible and forbidden. The relationship between Melissa and her husband appears increasingly strained, touched by a quiet dissatisfaction, especially because of the husband's frequent absences due to work. In the vacuum left by the husband's travels, Bilitis and Melissa begin to drift closer, drawn together by an unspoken magnetic pull. Alone in the villa's sun-dappled rooms and fragrant gardens, the two women share private conversations, secret glances, and gentle, lingering touches that hover at the edge of something more intimate. Melissa's beauty and sophistication ignite a spark of curiosity and desire in Bilitis, who finds herself yearning not merely to admire Melissa but to explore the mysterious terrain of womanhood that Melissa represents. The young girl becomes increasingly enchanted. She studies Melissa's gestures, the way her lips curve into a faint smile, the shimmer of sunlight on her hair, the subtle shift in her voice when she speaks softly. Bilitis' fascination is not simply physical, it is a profound emotional awakening, a growing awareness of the possibility that love and desire might exist outside the boundaries she had always assumed. Bilitis remains, however, an innocent soul. Unspoiled, and still discovering the turbulence of adult emotions and desires. Yet there is an undeniable sensual current running through her experiences, as though the summer heat itself were coaxing her into a new, intoxicating world. Meanwhile, Melissa, who is herself restless and perhaps weary of the emotional emptiness in her marriage, begins to feel a reciprocal attraction. There's a quiet ache in her eyes, a softness when she looks at Bilitis, as if Melissa sees in the younger woman both a reminder of lost innocence and a tantalizing opportunity for forbidden pleasure. Together, Bilitis and Melissa find themselves in a delicate dance, a relationship at once tender, dangerous, and thrilling. Their connection becomes increasingly charged with erotic tension. Beneath the guise of affectionate friendship lies a simmering desire neither of them can fully deny. Yet Bilitis's journey of self-discovery takes another turn when she meets Nikias, a young man whose presence brings a different kind of excitement. With Nikias, Bilitis experiences the sweet intoxication of first love. Their time together blossoms into a summer romance full of innocence and youthful passion. They run along sunlit beaches, they share gentle kisses that gradually grow bolder, and hesitant caresses that become more daring as their affection deepens. Nikias embodies the adolescent part of Bilitis, a reflection of her need for tenderness, safety, and the thrilling vulnerability of new love, but despite her moments of joy with Nikias, the memory, and magnetic presence, of Melissa continues to dominate Bilitis's thoughts and stir her emotions. There is a lingering ache, an unresolved tension that calls her back to Melissa's world of elegant allure and whispered secrets. Bilitis does not explicitly declare or define its protagonist's sexual identity by the end of the film. Instead, it weaves a narrative that dwells in ambiguity and sensual possibility. The story focuses on Bilitis's journey into self-awareness and the blossoming of her sensuality during one brief, intense summer. Her relationship with Nikias stands as a symbol of pure, innocent first love, a romance unburdened by complexity. Meanwhile, her emotional and psychological entanglement with Melissa serves as the film's true gravitational center. Melissa acts as both muse and catalyst, drawing Bilitis deeper into the hidden chambers of her own desire, even as those desires remain beautifully, achingly undefined. Bilitis is played by Patti D'Arbanville. Guess how old she was when she played this role? Her face and body look like a 14-year-old girl, but she was actually 25 when she portrayed Bilitis. She had been active as a model and actress since a young age and had appeared in Andy Warhol's works. What fueled the controversy was that many viewers assumed Bilitis was played by an underage girl. Not just the main actress, but other cast members, including extras, also looked like junior high school girls. The director, David Hamilton, was known as a photographer with a soft focus style, and this film is full of beautiful, romantic, and sensual images. However, it's considered controversial due to its sexual themes involving teenage characters, even if not explicitly exploited. Going back to the issue of the female cast's ages, because this is a film about teenagers, Hamilton cast actresses who were 18 and older but had a schoolgirl physique. Hamilton was known for choosing models who looked youthful, but were of legal age to avoid legal violations, especially in the 1970s when legal scrutiny over sexual representation began to increase in Europe and America. Most of the female cast in this film, both supporting roles and extras, were professional models who had worked with David Hamilton on photography projects before this film was made. However, not all age data for the extras can be publicly verified, as many were uncredited in the film and not famous outside of this work. The female extras were most likely also adult models, even though they appeared with a teenage look, and not all of their identities or ages are documented. Another controversial aspect of this film is the intimate relationship between an adult and an underage teenage girl. In the film, Bilitis is a teenager on summer vacation, staying at the house of Melissa, a beautiful, older woman trapped in a stale marriage. The film doesn't explain much about Bilitis's family background. Viewers only know she's staying at Melissa's house for a while. Because Bilitis is very close to Melissa and lives in the same house, some viewers thought she was an adopted child. To add to the confusion, Melissa treats Bilitis with tenderness, sometimes like a child, sometimes with a romantic attraction. Their relationship is complex, a mix of intimacy, sexual curiosity, and a melancholic atmosphere. It can be said that there are elements of pedophilia in the film's story. This film is full of softcore nuances, displaying female nudity artistically. Art or exploitation, David Hamilton is indeed known for his soft focus style, creating beautiful and romantic images. However, many criticize that behind the visual beauty, this film still promoted voyeurism. Some critics consider this film to have a Lolita nuance because it depicts teenage erotica. This issue is even more sensitive because Bilitis is portrayed as very innocent and naive, yet involved in sensual scenes. For some viewers, this film is considered to tease the legal and moral boundaries regarding the depiction of teenage sexuality. Some praise the film for presenting sexual exploration from a female perspective. One of the biggest debates, is David Hamilton's work erotic art or simply a soft-core film? Fans praise its cinematography and beautiful visuals, while critics argue the film focuses too much on the female body, making it seem exploitative. Bilitis remains a cult film for some due to its visual beauty. However, this film often exists in the gray area between art and exploitation, especially due to its themes of youth and sexuality. To this day, Bilitis still sparks discussions about the line between erotic art and cinematic ethics. However, many feminists also criticize Bilitis as a work by a heterosexual male that portrays lesbianism only for male fantasy consumption, not as a genuine representation of female relationships. The availability of this film on paid streaming media is still limited, depending on the country. Feel free to search for and watch it. What do you think? Please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. On this channel, you'll get reviews of controversial films you might have never seen before. Thanks for watching.